I don't quite get it. I think I understand this Zahawi, Farage, Finkelstein triangle rather better than I understand the rest of it, using this opportunity to score political points for your own self, in Farage's case, or your own party, in the case of Finkelstein and Zahawi. That's as old as the hills. And the fact that 80% of our print media certainly leans very, very heavily towards the Tory party gives them an almost free swing at the story and the freedom to use it as an attempt to pursue their own political vendettas. But for the rest of us, what are we taking away from this story? He was sacked for breaching the ministerial code, sacked by the current iteration of the Tory party, almost unsackable cohort of charlatans and chancers. And yet he managed, perhaps uniquely actually, apart from, of course, Suella Braverman, he managed to actually get sacked. Even Dominic Raab would have hung on if he hadn't promised to resign in the event of being found to be a bully, because he was then found to be a bully, so he had to resign. But he would have tried to hang on if Keir Starmer hadn't pushed him into making that promise. So someone sacked for a breach of the ministerial code is able, through a combination of cynicism and opportunism, to use the Horizon Post Office scandal to cast themselves as a moral crusader. And that is a beautiful indication of how insane this story has now become. Danny Finkelstein, I beg your pardon, Milord Finkelstein, a former member, I think, of the Conservative Research Office, certainly a former speechwriter for David Cameron. He dedicates a whole page in Rupert Murdoch's Times to calling for Ed Davies' resignation over this issue. Davey certainly has questions to answer, but it's no coincidence that he's a Liberal Democrat, or rather was a Liberal Democrat member of the coalition government when Lord Finkelstein was writing speeches for its actual Prime Minister. But he casts himself today in the role of moral crusader, calling for the resignation of Ed Davey. I hesitate to put Nigel Farage in the same breath as Lord Finkelstein, because the latter is a valuable contributor to public discourse, whereas the former is, of course, simply the most stubborn skid mark on the underpants of British politics. But Nigel Farage has used the opportunity to call for Keir Starmer to answer questions about why he didn't do more to stop this scandal.